What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, with another edition of When, Where, Pick, and Dare, where I pick games for the various games that are occurring tomorrow. Whether it's football, baseball, basketball, basically whatever games I want to pick, I will pick them. With all that being said, on with the video. NBA. San Antonio Spurs versus Oklahoma City Thunder, Game 7. This is part of the NBA Western Conference Finals. Series is tied 3-3, so whoever wins this goes on to the NBA Finals. The Spurs have a 39.8% chance to win. The Thunder have a 60.2% chance to win. This is at OKC. For injuries, for Spurs, Jones Garcia's out. For Thunder, Mitchell's a game time decision, and Sorber's out. For stats, Spurs have more points per game. Field goal percentage is even. Spurs have more rebounds per game, assists per game. Blocks per game is even. Thunder more steals per game. These stats are pretty close. So I think home field advantage will be a big thing here. So I think the Thunder will beat the Spurs tomorrow to go on to the next round. College baseball. NC Volunteers versus VCU Rams. This is an elimination game in the NCAA baseball regionals. So Tennessee's unranked 38.1 record. VCU's unranked 37.4 record. For stats, VCU's higher batting average. Tennessee has more runs, hits, home runs. VCU's higher on base percentage. Tennessee's higher slugging percentage, ERA. VCU has more walks with hits, rings pitched. More walks. Tennessee's more strikeouts. This game is in Chapel Hill, so it's a probably like as far as distance. I mean, VCU's in Richmond, Tennessee's in Knoxville. I don't know if one's necessarily closer. Odds are there are probably more Tennessee fans there than VCU fans. But besides that, Tennessee's a batting advantage and pitching advantage. So I think Tennessee will beat VCU. Wake Forest Deacons versus Birmingham Bearcats. This is an elimination game in the NCAA baseball regionals. Wake Forest is unranked 38-20 record. Birmingham's unranked 31-21 record. This game is at Morgantown, West Virginia. For stats, Wake Forest is higher. Batting average has more runs, hits, home runs. A little higher on base percentage, slugging percentage. Birmingham is higher ERA, more walks with hits for innings pitched. Wake Forest has more walks and more strikeouts. These stats, Wake Forest has a definite batting advantage and pitching advantage. So I think Wake Forest will beat Birmingham tomorrow. Coastal Carolina Chanticleers versus Florida State Seminoles. This is an elimination game in the NCAA baseball regionals. Coastal Carolina is unranked 37-22 record. Florida State's 10 nation 38-18 record. This game's at Florida State. So yeah, I mean, this could be a good game. As far as stats go, Florida State's higher batting average. Coastal Carolina's more runs. Florida State's more hits, home runs. On base percentage is even. Florida State's higher slugging percentage. Coastal Carolina's higher ERA. More walks as hits, rings pitched. More walks. Florida State's more strikeouts. So these stats, Coastal Carolina is a bang advantage, but Florida State is a pitching advantage. So probably get cancel out. So home field advantage would then be the big thing here. So I think Florida State will beat Coastal Carolina. Either Broncos versus Troy Trojans. It's an elimination game in NCAA baseball regionals. Ryder is unranked, 33-19 record. Troy's unranked, 64-59 record. This game is at Troy. For stats, Ryder's higher batting average. Troy's more runs, hits, home runs. Ryder's higher on-base percentage. Troy's higher slugging percentage. ERA, walks as hits, range pitches even. Ryder has more walks. Troy's more strikeouts. So with these stats, Troy's a batting and pitching advantage. So I think Troy will beat Ryder. Northeastern Huskies versus Missouri State Bears. This is an elimination game in the NCAA baseball regionals. Northeastern is unranked, 76.1 record. Missouri State's unranked, 68-39 record. For stats, Missouri State's higher batting average, has more runs, hits, home runs, higher on-base percentage, slugging percentage, ERA, more walks with hits per innings pitched. Northeastern's more walks and more strikeouts. This game is in Lawrence, Kansas, so don't think it's really home field advantage for either team. So these stats, Missouri State has a batting advantage. There's not really, I would say, a pitching advantage here. So I think Missouri State will beat Northeastern. Oklahoma State, Cowboys versus Alabama State Hornets. This is an elimination game in the NCAA baseball regionals. Oklahoma State's unranked, 37-21 record. Alabama State's unranked, 34-22 record. This game's at Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So Oklahoma State, for stats, Oklahoma State's higher batting average, more runs, hits, home runs, higher on-base percentage, slugging percentage, ERA. There's Alabama State has more walks with hits per innings pitched. Oklahoma State has more walks and strikeouts. With these stats, Oklahoma State is higher, has a batting advantage and pitching advantage. So I think Oklahoma State will beat Alabama State tomorrow. UC Santa Barbara Gauchos versus Holy Cross Crusaders. This is an elimination game in the NCAA baseball regionals. UCSB is unranked, 76-37 record. Holy Cross is unranked, 25-29 record. This game's in Austin, Texas. For stats, UCSB's higher batting average, has more runs, hits, home runs, higher on-base percentage, slugging percentage. Holy Cross is higher ERA, more walks with hits per innings pitched. More walks, UCSB is more strikeouts. So UCSB is higher, has a batting advantage and pitching advantage. So I think UC Santa Barbara beats Holy Cross. Dakota State Jackrabbits versus Arizona State Sun Devils. This is an elimination game in the NCAA baseball regionals. SDSU is unranked, 24-32 record. Arizona State's unranked, 37-19 record. This game's at Lincoln, Nebraska. For stats, Arizona State's higher batting average, more runs. South Dakota State is more hits. Arizona State is more home runs. Higher on-base percentage, slugging percentage. South Dakota State's higher ERA, more walks as hits, innings pitched, more walks. Arizona State is more strikeouts. So with these stats, see Arizona State is a batting advantage and pitching advantage. So I think Arizona State will beat South Dakota State tomorrow. We have Cavaliers versus Southern Miss Golden Eagles. This is elimination game, the NCAA baseball regionals. Virginia's unranked, 36-22 record. Southern Miss is 9th nation, 88-31 record. This game's at Southern Miss. For stats, Southern Miss is higher batting average. Virginia is more runs. Southern Miss is more hits. Virginia's more home runs. Higher on base percentage, slugging percentage. ERA, more walks with hits, range pitched. More walks. Southern Miss is more strikeouts. So with these stats, Virginia has a batting advantage, but Southern Miss has a pitching advantage. Those will probably cancel out. So I say with home field advantage, I think Southern Miss will beat Virginia. Oregon State Beavers versus Yale Bulldogs. This is an elimination game in the NCAA baseball regionals. Oregon State is unranked, 43-13 record. Yale's unranked, 30-14-1 record. This game is at Eugene, Oregon. For stats, Yale's higher batting average, has more runs. Oregon State has more hits, home runs. Yale's higher on base percentage. Oregon's higher slugging percentage. Yale's higher ERA, walks and hits, runs pitched. Oregon State has more walks and strikeouts. With these stats, say Oregon State's batting advantage and pitching advantage. So that a home field advantage. I think Oregon State will beat Yale. Lamar Cardinals versus USC Trojans. This is an elimination game in the NCAA baseball regionals. Lamar's unranked, 34-26 record. USC's unranked, 43-16 record. This game's at College Station, Texas. For stats, Lamar's higher batting average. USC has more runs, hits, home runs, higher on base percentage, slugging percentage. Lamar's higher ERA, more walks with hits, runs pitched, more walks, and USC has more strikeouts. For these stats, USC has a batting advantage and pitching advantage, so I think USC will beat Lamar. Lipscomb Bison versus Louisiana Ragin Cajuns. This is an elimination game in the NCAA baseball regionals. Lipscomb is unranked, 58-49 record. Louisiana's unranked, 78-47 record. This game's in Starkville, Mississippi. For stats, Lipscomb's higher batting average. Louisiana's more runs, hits, home runs. Lipscomb's higher on base percentage, slugging percentage, ERA, more walks plus hits, runs pitched. More walks. Louisiana's more strikeouts. So with these stats, Louisiana's a batting advantage and pitching advantage. So I think Louisiana will beat Lipscomb. Virginia Tech Hokies versus UCLA Bruins. This is an elimination game in NCAA baseball regionals. Virginia Tech is unranked, 30-25 record. UCLA's won the nation, 51-7 record. This game's at UCLA. Your stats, UCLA's higher batting average. It's more runs, hits, home runs. Higher on base percentage, slugging percentage. Virginia Tech has higher ERA. More walks plus hits, runs pitched. More walks. UCLA has more strikeouts. With these stats, UCLA has a batting advantage and pitching advantage. So with that and the home field advantage, I think UCLA will beat Virginia Tech. North Carolina Tar Heels versus East Carolina Pirates. This is part of the NCAA baseball regionals. North Carolina's 5-nation, 46-11-1 record. ECU's unranked, 73-49 stats, East Carolina's a higher batting average. North Carolina's more runs. East Carolina's more hits. Carolina's more home runs. Has higher on base percentage, slugging percentage. ECU's higher ERA. North Carolina's more walks with hits, innings pitched. More walks. And ECU is more strikeouts. So with these stats, North Carolina's a batting advantage, but Eastern Carolina has a pitching advantage. Those will cancel out. So with the home field advantage, I think North Carolina will beat Eastern Carolina tomorrow. West Virginia Mountaineers versus Kentucky Wildcats. It's part of the NCAA baseball regionals. West Virginia's 16 nation, 40-14 record. Kentucky's unranked, 32-21 record. This game's at Kentucky, at West Virginia. For stats, West Virginia's higher batting average, has more runs, hits. Kentucky's more home runs. West Virginia's higher on base percentage. Kentucky's higher slugging percentage. ERA, more walks as hits, innings pitched, more walks. West Virginia's more strikeouts. With these stats, West Virginia's a batting advantage and pitching advantage. So with that and the home field advantage, I think West Virginia will beat Kentucky tomorrow. St. John's Red Storm versus Northern Illinois Huskies. This is part of the NCAA baseball regionals. St. John's is unranked, 67-48 record. NIU's unranked, 36-17 record. This game's at Tallahassee, Florida. For stats, St. John's higher batting average. Northern NIU is more runs. St. John's is more hits. NIU is more home runs. Higher on base percentage, slugging percentage. ERA. St. John's has more walks with hits, innings pitched. More walks. NIU is more strikeouts. These stats, no one has a batting advantage, but NIU is a pitching advantage. So I think Northern Illinois will beat St. John's. Miami Hurricanes versus Florida Gators. It's part of the NCAA baseball regionals. Miami's unranked, 39-18 record. Florida's 8 nation, 40-19 record. This game's at Florida. Stats, Miami's higher batting average. It's more runs, hits. Florida's more home runs. Miami's higher on base percentage, slugging percentage, ERA. More walks with hits, innings pitched. More walks. Florida's more strikeouts. These stats, Miami is a batting advantage, but Florida is a pitching advantage. So those will cancel out. So I think home field advantage with them to be the big thing here. So I think Florida will beat Miami. Arkansas Razorbacks versus Kansas Jayhawks. This is part of the NCAA baseball regionals. Arkansas is unranked, 40-20 record. Kansas 15 nation, 43-16 record. This game is at Kansas. For stats, Kansas higher batting average, it's more runs, hits, home runs, higher on base percentage, slugging percentage, ERA, more walks with hits, innings pitched, more walks. Arkansas has more strikeouts. So with these stats, Kansas has a batting advantage, but Arkansas has a pitching advantage. So I say with the home field advantage, I think Kansas will beat Arkansas. Alabama Crimson Tide versus South Carolina Upstate Spartans. This is part of the NCAA baseball regionals. Alabama 7 nation, 38-19 record. Upstate's unranked, 34-20 record. This game's at Alabama. For stats, Upstate's higher batting average, has more runs, hits, home runs is even. Upstate's higher on base percentage, slugging percentage. ERA, more walks with hits, innings pitched. More walks. Bama has more strikeouts. So with these stats, say Upstate's batting advantage, but Bama is a pitching advantage, so that those cancel out. So with the home field advantage, I think Alabama beats South Carolina Upstate. Ole Miss Rebels versus Nebraska Cornhuskers. This is part of the NCAA baseball regionals. Ole Miss is unranked, 37-21 record. Nebraska's 13 nation, 43-50 record. This game's at Nebraska. For stats, Nebraska's higher batting average. It's more runs, hits. Ole Miss is more home runs. Nebraska's higher on base percentage, slugging percentage, ERA, walks as hits, rings pitched, more walks. Ole Miss has more strikeouts. So Nebraska has a batting advantage, but Ole Miss has a pitching advantage. So so those will cancel out. So home field advantage would then be the big thing here. So I think Nebraska will beat Ole Miss. It's this Longhorns versus Tarleton State Texans. This is part of the NCAA baseball regionals. Texas is sixth in the nation, 41-13 record. Tarleton State's unranked, 38-19 record. This game's at Texas. For stats, batting average is even. Texas has more runs. Tarleton State has more hits. Texas has more home runs. Higher on base percentage, slugging percentage. Tarleton State's higher ERA. More walks as hits, rings pitched. More walks. Texas has more strikeouts. So with these stats, Texas has a batting and pitching advantage. So I think that and the home field advantage, I think Texas will beat Tarleton State tomorrow. Jacksonville State Gamecocks versus Little Rock Trojans. This is part of the NCAA baseball regionals. Jacksonville State's unranked, 93-26 record. Little Rock's unranked, 37-26 record. This game's at Hattiesburg, Mississippi. For stats, Jacksonville State's a higher batting average, it's more runs. Little Rock has more hits, more home runs. Jacksonville State's higher on base percentage, slugging percentage. Little Rock's higher ERA, more walks as hits, rings pitched, more walks. Jacksonville State has more strikeouts. So with these stats, I would say there's not really a big batting advantage here, but Jacksonville State has a pitching advantage. So I think Jacksonville State will beat Little Rock. Oregon Ducks versus Washington State Cougars. This is part of the NCAA baseball regionals. Oregon's 11 nation, 41-16 record. Washington State's unranked, 31-26 record. This game's at Oregon. For stats, Washington's higher batting average. Oregon's more runs, hits, home runs. Washington State's higher on base percentage. Oregon's higher slugging percentage. Washington State's higher ERA, more walks plus hits per innings pitched. More walks. Oregon has more strikeouts. So with these stats, Oregon has a batting and pitching advantage. So with that and the home field advantage, I think Oregon will beat Washington State. The state Bobcats versus Texas A&M Aggies. This is part of the NCAA baseball regionals. Texas State's unranked, 73-48 record. A&M's 12 in nation, 14-14 record. This game's at Texas A&M. For stats, A&M's higher batting average, has more runs. See, Texas State has more hits, more home runs. A&M's higher on base percentage, slugging percentage. Texas State's higher ERA, more walks plus hits, rings pitched, more walks and more strikeouts. With these stats, I would say Texas 8 has a batting advantage. There's not really a pitching advantage here. So, yeah. So that'll make things interesting. But with A&M having the home field advantage, being as high ranked as they are, I think A&M will beat Texas State. Cincinnati Bearcats versus Mississippi State Bulldogs. This is part of the NCAA baseball regionals. Cincinnati's unranked, 38-20 record. Mississippi State's 14 nation, 41-17 record. This game's at Mississippi State. For Statsum, Mississippi State's higher batting average, has more runs, hits, home runs, higher on-base percentage, slugging percentage. Cincinnati's higher ERA, more walks as hits or innings pitched, more walks. Mississippi State has more strikeouts. These stats Mississippi State has a batting and pitching advantage. So with that and the home field advantage, I think Mississippi State will beat Cincinnati. St. Mary's Gales versus Cal Poly Mustangs. This is part of the NCAA baseball regionals. St. Mary's is unranked, 69-50 record. Cal Poly's unranked, 344 record. For stats, St. Mary's higher batting average, has more runs, hits, home runs, higher on-base percentage, slugging percentage. ERA, more walks as hits or innings pitched, more walks. Cal Poly has more strikeouts. So with these stats, St. Mary's has a batting advantage, but Cal Poly has a pitching advantage. So I don't really think home field advantage is going to be a big thing here, but with Cal Poly more wins, less losses, and probably having more people there since it's in LA, I think Cal Poly will beat St. Mary's. MLB. San Diego Padres versus Washington Nationals. Padres have a 47.3% chance to win. The Nats have a 52.7% chance to win. This game is at Washington. For starting pitchers for the Padres, Michael Keane has a career ERA of 3.19, whip at 1.19. And for the Nats, Foster Griffin has a career ERA of 3.99, whip at 1.19, 1.17. So that's good pitcher of both teams. Not really seeing a difference here. For injuries for the Padres, Luis Campusano is on 10 DL, Blake Hunt, Jake Cronenworth on 7 DL, Matt Waldron's on 15 DL, and Johnny Brito's on 6 DL. For the Nats, Josiah Gray, Terrell Williams, Ken Walchuk, and Tyler Baum are on 6 DL. Jake Irvin's on 15 DL. For stats, Nats have higher batting average, have more runs, hits, home runs, higher on-base percentage, slugging percentage, ERA, more walks with hits per innings pitched, more walks. Padres have more strikeouts. Nats have a higher opponent batters. So with these stats, Nationals have a batting advantage, but Padres have a pitching advantage. That'll probably offset a little bit with how close the starting pitching is. I think home field advantage would then be a big thing here. So I think the Nationals will beat the Padres tomorrow. Atlanta Braves versus Cincinnati Reds. The Braves have a 60% chance to win, and the Reds have a 40% chance to win. This is at Cincinnati. Their starting pitchers for the Braves, Martin Perez has a career ERA of 4.37, whip at 1.42. For the Reds, Ray Singer has a career ERA of 4.34, whip at 1.33. So not really good pitching for either team. Not really significant difference here. For injuries, for the Braves, Al Farmer and Trey Balder on 10 DL. Blake Peralta's on 7 DL. Hurston Waldrep and Dan Young are on 6 DL. For the Reds, Josh DeMouth's on 7 DL. Connor Burns is on 60 DL. Brett Lauder and Emilio Pagan are on 15 DL. Jose Trevino's on 10 DL. Stats, Braves have a higher batting average, have more runs, hits, home runs, higher on base percentage, slugging percentage. Reds have a higher ERA. More walks with hits per inch pitch. They have more walks. Braves have more strikeouts. Reds have a higher opponent batting average. So with these stats, Braves have a hitting and pitching advantage. So despite the home field advantage that the Reds have with the batting pitching advantage, I think the Braves will beat the Reds tomorrow. Cubs versus St. Louis Cardinals. Cubs have 52.1% chance to win. The Cards have a 47.9% chance to win. This game is at St. Louis for starting pitchers. For the Cubs, Ben Brown has a career ERA of 4.45 with a 1.25. And for the Cards, Kyle Leahy has a career ERA of 3.86 with a 1.31. So that's a good pitching for Leahy. Not really good pitching for Brown. So definite starting pitching advance for the Cards. For injuries, for the Cubs, Matt Shaw's on 10-day IL, Jackson Wiggins on 7-day IL, Jeff Brigham's on 6-day IL, Edward Cabrera and Matthew Boyd are on 15-day IL. For the Cards, Lars Newbar, Victor Santos, Zach Thompson, Ikeson Harrison are on 6-day IL. Nathan Church is on 10-day IL. For stats, batting averages even. Cubs have more runs, hits, home runs, higher on-base percent, slugging percent. Cards have a higher ERA, more walks with hits per innings pitched, more walks. Cubs have more strikeouts. Cards have a higher opponent batting average. So with these stats, Cubs have a batting and pitching advantage. So yeah, I mean, so with the starting pitching, that could contain things early on, but the batting advantage is going to kick in right later, and with the pitch over, especially when the the relievers come in where. So I think the with the batting advantage and overall pitching advantage, despite the home field advantage the Cards have, with the other advantages, I think the Cubs will beat the Cardinals tomorrow. Arizona Diamondbacks versus Seattle Mariners. Diamondbacks have 42.4% chance to win. The Mariners have 57.6% chance to win. This is at Seattle. For starting pitchers, for Diamondbacks, Ryan Nelson. His career ERA of 4.24, whip of 1.22. For the Mariners, Ryan Wu has a career ERA of 3.29, whip of 0.99. So that's good pitching for Wu, not really good pitching for Nelson. So definite starting pitch advantage for the Mariners. For injuries, for the Diamondbacks, Nolan Arenado's day-to-day. Spencer Geestein's 7-day IL. Evan Smith is on 6-day IL. Han Dirk is out. Carlos Santana is on 10-day IL for the Mariners. Spencer Packer and Teddy McGraw are on 7-day IL. Carlos Vargas and Miles Mastrobuoni are on 6-day IL. Val Raleigh's on 10-day IL. For stats, Diamondbacks have a higher batting average, have more runs, hits. Mariners have more home runs, higher on-base percentage. Diamondbacks have a higher slugging percentage, ERA, more walks with hits per innings pitched, more walks. Mariners have more strikeouts and a higher opponent batting average. So with these stats, definitely points to a slight batting advantage for the Diamondbacks, but there's a pitching advantage for the Mariners. So yeah, they'll offset a little bit. So with the starting pitch advantage and home field advantage, I think the Mariners will beat the Diamondbacks tomorrow. Philadelphia Phillies versus Los Angeles Dodgers. The Phillies have a 33.7% chance to win. The Dodgers have a 66.3% chance to win. Is that LA for starting pitchers for the Phillies? Andrew Painter has a career ERA of 5.4, whip of 1.46. And for the Dodgers, Roki Sasaki has a career ERA of 4.72, whip of 1.43. So that's not really good pitching for either team. Not really significant difference here. For injuries for the Phillies, Graham Marsh is day to day. Zach Pop's on 15 day IL. Kean Anthony and Renee Pinto are on 7 day IL. Max Lazar's on 6 day IL. For Dodgers, Bobby Miller, Ben Casparius are on 6 day IL. Brock Stewart and Jack Dreyer on 15 day IL. Teoscar Hernandez is out. For stats, Dodgers have a higher batting average, have more runs, hits, home runs, higher slugging percent, on base percentage, slugging percentage. Phillies have a higher ERA, more walks with hits, innings pitched. Dodgers have more walks. Phillies have more strikeouts, higher opponent batting average. So with these stats, there's a definite batting advantage for the Dodgers, but a pitching advantage for the Phillies. So those will offset a little bit. So yeah, with the home field advantage, I think will then be a big thing here. So I think the Dodgers will beat the Phillies tomorrow. And that's it for picks. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to my picks. Do you agree with them? Do you not? If you have different picks, you can put them in the comments. But other than that, please like, subscribe, and all that. Thank you for listening, and look forward to the next video.